Hello, welcome back to Tour of the Palate. This week we are cooking Brazilian food. And unlike some of the other weeks where I've cooked full on meals, this week I am cooking dessert. And this dessert is kind of like truffle. It's called Brigadeiro. So I was going to make this other meal and I could not find some of the ingredients that I needed, and so I figured rather than not be able to honor the dish in the way that I really wanted to, I would make something that I could find all the ingredients for. And I figured I would try this. So let's take a look. So the first thing I'm doing is making condensed milk, which is just a cup of sugar and 5 cups of milk, whole milk. And we are boiling that like low simmer for about 40 minutes. It's almost done. I didn't figure everybody would want to watch that. It's a very simple recipe. It is cocoa powder, flaky salt, sprinkles, which are fun, and a pat of butter. I'm also going to be heating this butter that I have in the pan already. And essentially what we do is we're going to wait until this is totally done and ready to go. And then we will mix, and this is very, very close because it's like a syrup consistency now, which is what we were looking for. And then we will mix in, so we're going to swap these pans, and we'll flip the cocoa powder, which I sifted, by the way, worth noting. And then we will whisk everything together until it's very well blended and heat that up, and then we're going to toss in, not toss anything in, we're going to set it in gently, the rest of these ingredients, and this is ready to go, so I'm going to switch these over, and I'm actually going to turn the heat on this down just a little bit, and going to melt this butter, and then add all the other stuff. So hope everybody is having a wonderful week. Next week I will actually not be cooking until probably later in the week, and who knows how I'm going to be feeling because I'm going to be going to Spain with Sarah. Woo woo! Very excited for that. Barcelona, in fact. So be eating some tapas and going to see Sagrada Familia, all sorts of fun stuff. So, pumped for that. And thus, I will be gone until the next week on Wednesday. So, I will miss Tuesday, but I will be back with regularly scheduled programming after that. So, yeah, it's a rainy day here in Kansas City. It almost was a snoozy one. Man, I wish I could have taken a nap, but when you got work and other things going on, you just got to get it done. And so, there we go. So this butter is starting to melt, and that's all I got to do with that. So I'm going to put in the condensed milk and the cocoa powder. There we go. Scoop all that in there. Just want to make sure I get everything in there because that sugar is going to make everything taste sweet, and I don't want to lose that. So there we go. There's that. I'm going to throw in cocoa powder. Bada bing, bada boom. Pat. Throw in the flaky salt. If I can get it off. There we go. You're just supposed to do a pinch of that. It's about 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now I get a whisk. And look at my whiskers. Okay. That was dumb. Okay. And then we just whisk this on low heat for a while, until no streaks of cocoa remain. So this could take us some time. All right. Let me turn the heat down just a little bit lower. Cocoa smells so good. Sorry, this is kind of loud. I'm scraping it against the pan so I get all that cocoa up. And so I am going to continue to whisk and stir this. Pretty nice. And then after this is all good to go, then we're going to turn the heat up and we're going to do the kind of stirring it, like whisking it constantly until it thickens up and it pulls away from the bottom of the pan in a big mass. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. Okay. Delicious. Whisking is fun. I like to do it when I make gravy. The biscuits and gravy is so good. Mmm, yum yum. Also, what is everybody's favorite rainy day activity to do? I like to go on walks and sometimes forget the umbrella and just like let the rain come down and hit me right in the noggin. Sometimes I'll even leave my glasses at home. Granted, I want to be able to see what's going on if I'm out in traffic, but if I'm just walking around the neighborhood, I don't need to be. Okay, I think this is good. It's looking pretty uniform. So now I'm going to use this spatula and I'm going to turn the heat up to medium. Yeah. I'm just going to be like constantly stirring this. Till it almost like custardizes. Well, not custardizes, but becomes this big blob. This is really interesting. I did not know. Maybe this is just how you make truffles, and I've never tried to make truffles at home before, so maybe I'm just being a derp. But yeah, yum. Okay. I'll go ahead and show you what I'm looking at, just so I can continue to stir it. Looks like it's starting to have that kind of consistency. Maybe someday I can wear a GoPro or something while I'm cooking. That way I wouldn't have to have the computer. Only tricky, well, not tricky, but part that I think is good is that I don't have to edit the videos, which I maybe at some point I'll need to, because this is going to take me a couple of years to be done with. And who knows, maybe by that point I'll just say, well, now I'm going to do a now I'm going to do a video of every province in all the countries or something. So this says it should be the texture of a soft, fudgy caramel. Which it kind of looks like. Sometimes it's nice to just have quiet, huh? It's one of the reasons why I like going out in nature. So you can like only hear the sound of the nature. And I guess people could argue that that's not quiet, but you know, away from all the noise of the world. The inorganic. Something so therapeutic about cooking. I feel like every time I do it, it makes me feel really happy and at peace. And sometimes when I screw stuff up or burn it or don't cook it the way that it should be cooked, then I think, this is what it's like to experiment. Because that's what I see cooking as. Especially if you've never made something before. Okay, it's starting to look shiny. But I think it needs to be kind of like one form onto a piece of parchment paper. Guess I should probably get that ready. Parchment paper. Aha! There we go. Parchment paper. Nice. Okay. Cool. So what I'll do is after this starts cooling, actually let me put these on a pan. It'll be easier to do it that way. If any of you have seen the movie Venom, that's what this consistency reminds me of. Somebody like turns into a blob and slides around. Or maybe like the movie Flubber or something. R.I.P. Robin Williams. I really miss his acting a lot. It was so good. Okay. Just looking pretty close. I think these are going to be fairly small too. They're supposed to be like a teaspoon, like a hand, like a teaspoon. This is looking pretty close. What is all of your favorite Robin Williams movie? Mine is either Aladdin, because he's the genie, or Patch Adams. Sad movie, but very good. Okay, this is almost there. Almost. Also had a really great time with my two younger sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's boyfriend and my dad and my stepmom and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle and their kids, my cousins. It was just a fun, action-packed weekend. Tons of fun, tons of good family time, which I always appreciate. Okay. All right. This is close. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Here we go. See how it's kind of like all sticking together in a big blob? Yeah, I would say this looks like the texture of a soft fudgy caramel or caramel. Is it caramel or caramel? I've always wondered. I feel like person to person it changes. Okay, now I am going to pour this onto the pan, and now I will turn that off and wait about 30 minutes for that to be ready to handle. And I will be back with you all after that. But before we go, because I do want to read some history and facts about Brazil, and Brazil, the food culture, and all of those lovely things. Okay. Brazil has a rich and diverse food culture that reflects its multicultural heritage, blending indigenous, African, Portuguese, and other European influences. Here's an overview of Brazilian dining customs and food culture. Brazilian meals typically follow a structured pattern. Breakfast is usually light, consisting of coffee, bread, fruit, and sometimes cheese or ham. The main meal of the day is lunch, traditionally served between noon and 2 p.m., which often includes rice, beans, meat, and vegetables. Dinner tends to be lighter and served later in the evening, around 7 to 9 p.m. Brazilians are generally social diners who value gathering around the table with family and friends. Meals are often leisurely affairs with conversation flowing freely. It's common to linger after eating, especially on weekends. When dining out, service can be more relaxed than in some cultures, reflecting the Brazilian emphasis on enjoying the social aspects of eating. Brazil's vast territory means significant regional variation in cuisine. The Amazon region features exotic fruits and fish dishes. The Northeast is known for spicy foods and African-influenced dishes like acarajé. The South has strong European influences with dishes like churrasco or barbecue, and Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro offer cosmopolitan dining scenes alongside traditional fare. Staple beans across staple ingredients across the country include rice, black beans, manioc or cassava fruit, tropical fruits, and other various meats and seafood. Feijoada, or feijoada, I think is how you say it. A hearty black bean stew with pork is considered the national dish, which is what I was going to make today. But like I said, I could not find some of the ingredients, and I didn't want to make the dish if I couldn't have kind of the star of it. What I made, or am making this evening, they're called brigadeiros. Brigadeiros are among Brazil's most beloved sweets and an essential part of the country's dessert culture. These small, round chocolate truffles were created in the 1940s and named after Brigadier Eduardo Gomes, a presidential candidate at the time. The traditional brigadeiro is made from just four simple ingredients: sweetened condensed milk, cocoa powder, butter, and chocolate sprinkles for coating, which is what I'm doing. The mixture is cooked while stirring constantly until it thickens, then rolled into small balls and covered in chocolate sprinkles, granulado. Brigadeiros are ubiquitous at Brazilian birthday parties, celebrations, and special events. They're often served in small paper cups and are considered as essential to birthday parties as cake itself. Over time, creative variations have emerged, including different coatings like coconut, nuts, or colored sprinkles, and flavored variation or versions using ingredients like strawberry or coconut. The preparation and sharing of brigadeiros represents a Brazilian love for sweets and social gatherings, making them not just a dessert, but a cultural symbol of celebration and hospitality. So yeah, that's Brazil. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of food. I found so many recipes. I thought, you know what? I'll change it up and I'll do something. Well, some of it is because I couldn't find the ingredients, but the other aspect of it is I thought it might be nice to make a dessert of a country instead of just the typical main meal. So there you go. And we'll be back in like 25 minutes to finish these off and then put them in the fridge for tasting later. Okay, bye.